I'm not weird, I just do what I want. I sing or rap when I run. I dance like nobody's watching, only when I'm not at the club. I look at every face that passes, hotel eye contact. At parties I stand in the back. I'll find a couch and sit on my ass. I wanna be social but I run out of gas.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Yikes Podcast. Today is August 11th, and this is episode 2 of our wonderful and beautiful podcast. We're not brought to you by anyone. We have no sponsors yet. Could be you, listeners. I'm joined by, as always, Ho Colin.
Hey.
And we'll have a special guest coming later on. But right now, we're going to jump right in. And the first thing I want to talk about, we're going to go a little crazy here. We're going to talk about everyone's favorite Lord of the Ring character, Orlando Bloom, who plays Legolas.
And his penis.
And we're going to talk about a picture or a couple of pictures that have been circulating about this man. And I guess, Colin, you can take it away here. What are your experiences with Orlando Bloom's wiener picture that has come out?
Well, I probably wouldn't have seen it, but I do have a friend on Instagram who has posted the same photo 3 or 4 times already. And
edited or unedited?
Unedited. This penis is on Instagram. And somehow it's been 3 or 4 days since that picture came up, and it's still on Instagram. Instagram doing a shit job getting it down. But,
does this guy have a lot of followers, or is he kind of not that famous?
well, he's not famous.
Like under 300?
Well, we can give you that info in about 2 seconds.
Well, I've only seen the picture edited, and I see a black bar, so it's not a big deal. It looks like he's got like a mini Speedo on because it's a black bar, but you just see a shadow because they can't bleep out a shadow. Well, they could if they wanted, and the shadow looks like an elephant trunk. How many followers does he have?
225.
Ah, so under 300. So he's not famous enough for Instagram to really give a crap. It's not like he's posting full-on nudies or something, but it is pretty gross. I guess I just want to say congrats to Legolas, because that's pretty cool. And you don't really let that happen unless you are proud of it, you know? Like, if you're not cool with that, you would totally be like, hell no.
Yeah, there's a reason he went naked and then went on a paddleboard.
Right.
Like, he knew there was a chance to get photographed. In fact, he has not been relevant. So maybe that's why he did it.
Maybe
to get some relevance.
Exactly. He's trying to get back in, and that's his way in. He's like, look, I played an elf who happens to have a large penis, so put me in a new movie. And I mean,
if you look at the photo, it's about average, but I don't know if he's a grower or a show.
He's probably. I couldn't tell you what Orlando Bloom is, but his it's, you know, he was in water. Could have been cold.
That's true.
There was no shrinkage.
Some shrinkage. Well, there could have been shrinkage.
Yeah, there could have, and it didn't look like it from what the shadow was, because I wasn't weird and I didn't look at it like you did.
Yeah, well, weird is one thing, and then being forced it onto my feed is another thing. 3 times, let alone. It wasn't like one day I was like, oh, there it is. I'll just like never go back. It's like, oh, there it is again, and there it is again. And we're all in about a day. And I was like at work scrolling through, like, oh shit, and like putting my phone away. Like, that's not suitable for work.
I think that picture might be the title picture for this episode's podcast. Just so.
Of course, black barred, and we'll put Yikes in the black bar.
Yeah, that's true. That sounds good. Now, enough about Orlando Bloom's dick. Let's talk about the dick of New Jersey, which is known as the transit system that we have.
All right, let me talk about NJ Transit. I take it every day for work, and they are always late to the destination. They're early for pickups, somehow late to their destination. Doesn't make sense, because they got to my location early, and sometimes I miss it because they're early, even though I'm on time for when the train's supposed to be there. But by the time we get to work, I'm 10 minutes late. So if you don't take an early train, you're screwed. And first-time users might not know that. So they have, I mean, if you look at their rating system, it's awful. Everybody gives it a bad score. There's nobody going, I had a good experience on NJ Transit today. I got asked money by 4 homeless people. And, you know.
I would have to say that my past experience with NJ Transit has never been good. I think that what really helps them is that there's no competitors. You can take a bus, but that's a pain in the ass.
they also have bus systems as well. Like they are also in the bus world.
Right.
There is a competition for them there, but I mean,
the trains just suck,
yeah.
and there's always. I mean, you get it. There's issues with different traffic and technical issues and mechanical and whatever, and that's understood. But it just blows.
Every day
Yeah,
it seems like there's a technical. And you know what? I can't put all of the blame when it comes to Penn Station. Can't put all the blame on NJ Transit. Amtrak owns Penn Station. NJ Transit rents and has tracks there because Amtrak lets them. But if an Amtrak train is late, they will hold off NJ Transit and say, we're going out first. You don't get to go first.
Right.
So you can't exactly blame NJ Transit for Penn Station's issues, but Penn Station, that's another beast entirely. That place sucks. It's awful. I have never had a train leave on the time it was supposed to. And then I miss things at Secaucus. I heard, though, they are actually adding a train that goes straight through Secaucus from the Bergen line.
So you don't have to stop.
You don't have to jump out of Secaucus. I heard they were going to add that.
That'd be nice.
But, I mean, if I just heard about it, I guess maybe 3 years from now.
Yeah.
Even if they start building now, it's going to take forever.
Well, thankfully, today we don't have to take transit to get to Jet Life Stadium.
Though sometimes I do for when I get off
You can.
work. I have to jump on, which that's another thing. When there's any sort of Thursday night event or just weekday event at night, that doesn't make sense. Weeknight event.
Right.
They close off 2 tracks. The track I get home on every day, they close that off and use it for just Meadowlands. So then everything is screwed up on the other side. It blocks up everything. One final thing I got to say about NJ Transit. Fuck them. Let's move past it.
So we don't have to take it today. We are thankfully have some nice parking pass to get in, and we'll be hanging out outside of MetLife Stadium for the Jets versus Jaguars game tonight. We wanted to record at the parking lot, but we figured with weather, there's a lot of expected rain potentially and scattered storms. We just didn't want to risk it, so we recorded a little bit beforehand. But my little rant I had to go on. It's a nice segue into the Jets and our special guest we have, but it's about Madden 2017, which is the new game coming out featuring Gronk on the cover. And look, I don't get Madden every year. I get it maybe every other year. I was a fan since Madden 2000, and I've usually defended it, but sometimes you get a little frustrated when it just seems like it's the same game with a different roster. Now this year, I like getting the game when the Jets are good. I find it a lot more enjoyable because at least I can play as the Jets. Last year, Jets had 10 wins. They didn't make the playoffs, but they had 10 wins. So, expecting them in the following Madden year to be pretty good.
I'd say like mid-80s, low 80s maybe, right?
They are ranked only above the Browns in the AFC.
What's their overall?
A 77.
That's bullshit.
For a 10-win team. It doesn't make sense for having one of the best defenses in the league, for having the best offense they've probably ever put together.
At least in the past, like 15, 20 years.
Absolutely. Ryan Fitzpatrick had 31 touchdowns or whatever it was.
What's his score?
77 also.
That is bullshit. Fitzpatrick is an 80s quarterback.
In Madden's terms, I would say that he's a low 80s guy. That's fine. And that didn't bother me. His rating, whatever. He's older. That's fine. But some of the guys just got gypped. Some of their linebackers, although very young, got some horrible ratings. Their secondary got some horrible ratings. Their offensive line, you have Decker and Marshall who got good ratings, and then their third receiver after that is like under 70. I think their next highest guy is Devin Smith at like 69. But it just is a little odd that teams like the Titans and teams like the Jaguars and teams like, you can name the Bills and the Dolphins and stuff like that, teams that the Jets have had success against last year, are rated higher. And, is it a big deal? No. Do I really care? Not really. It's just kind of odd that 10 wins doesn't really get you anything. Respect, Madden respect, But hopefully the Jets can just use that motivation, not really the Madden motivation, but people don't think the Jets are going to do well this year as well as they did last year. Maybe they just come out swinging, nothing to lose. We'll see. But that is our picture-perfect segue into our first guest that we've ever had on our Yikes podcast, and that brings us to introduce Lukas Favale.
Well, hello there.
Luke, it is great having you here.
I mean, it's great to be here. I don't know what you guys are thinking having me, of all people, as your first guest. But
How could we not? Colin brought it up last week.
Yeah,
It was
the radio guy.
well, it's true. It's true.
It was Colin's idea, and immediately I said, that's our guy. If it was a fantasy draft, Luke is our first pick for guests.
Whoa. Now, that is high standard right there. Wow.
I don't know if this episode, I think, is going to kick the crap out of last episode. We have,
Last episode, I thought was actually we got good feedback from 2 people, which is that's a target audience, about 2 people. So
It's all you can ask for, then, right?
yeah.
we're going to keep trying to improve every episode. So episode 2 has to be better. So let's dive right in, Luke. So obviously we have you here because you are the top prospect in the U.S. for sports broadcasting.
I don't know why you guys are laughing.
Yeah, that's not a joke.
Oh, okay.
You are.
If you insist.
You're the Aaron Judge. That's a baseball reference, Colin. Just write that one down.
Okay, I was thinking Mike Judge.
Nope,
that's the only judge.
King of the Hill. We want to know some stories. We want some great stories of the broadcasting world. Now, you graduated from CUSE.
Yes.
In 2014, big broadcast school.
Yeah, you bet.
A lot of snow.
There is a lot of snow up there.
That helps with broadcasting, obviously.
Sure.
Snow.
Yeah. It's breeds broadcasters, I guess.
So when did you know you wanted to be in broadcasting?
Well, pretty much my whole life.
Right.
I was probably, 5 years old, and I'm sitting here with a wiffle ball in front of me, and I think it was wiffle ball that started. I'd be playing in the backyard. See, my backyard was perfectly suited for wiffle ball.
That's a great field.
I had a deck there, which made it a little challenging. There was a couple of obstacles out there, but the house was a home run. You hit it to right field. You had enough room. Anyway, wiffle ball was my life when I was young, and that and sports. You mentioned Madden, video games, sports, and whatnot. I always had a blast doing that, but I also had a blast just talking about it. And we'd be playing wiffle ball, my brother, neighbor, whoever it was, and all of a sudden, here I am acting like John Sterling out there. And, of course, if you don't know who John Sterling is...
You can just get out.
You can do that.
Stop listening.
Yeah. So that was, pretty much as soon as I started playing wiffle ball or playing, NHL 94 or whatever year it was on the PlayStation, that was like, okay, this is fun. Playing the sports is great, but broadcasting the sports, a little easier. You don't have to, break your body over it, and you're still at the sporting event, which is great. So
Right.
I think, pretty much the whole life I've known that's kind of what I wanted to do.
Did you mentioned John Sterling. Do you have any other idols, I guess, growing up that you looked up to that really did it the right way?
Yeah, John, well...
Did it the right ways.
It might be a little
Yeah.
stretch in it. We all love John Sterling, of course. He's right up there.
Susan also?
Well, Susan is a terrific personality
Yes.
to join John Sterling in the broadcast booth, and she's been around the Yankees for years. But she's interesting. But there's so many broadcasters who've been so great, and I've always loved hockey. Always been a Ranger fan, and Sam Rosen has been around on the television side for the Rangers on MSG since before I was born. And he and JD, John Davidson, were just the perfect combination, and I always loved watching them. So that was part of it. And then as I got a little older and started really thinking, okay, maybe I could do this, you always watched Doc Emmerich, who does the NHL for NBC and
Right.
whatnot. He was, of course, when we were growing up, he was with the Devils, so got him all the time. And the guy will probably, we won't see and hear him later, but who does the Jets pregame and on CBS and whatnot, or I should say the preseason. And that is, of course, Ian Eagle, who is
Yes.
he's one of the best in the business. And so he's another guy who, he's been around, he does the Nets, he's always on the Nets, so I've heard him all the time as well. And those are a couple of the, there's so many of them who are so good. Vince Scully's great, you always get a chance to listen to him, but just to name a couple, those are right among the top of the list.
I just realized I barely know any names. I probably know all their voices.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's just, I could probably, if I heard them, be like, oh, that guy does this sport, that guy does that sport. But it's like, I don't know any of their names other than John Sterling.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, how can you not? If you've watched baseball in New York, you know who that is.
Yeah, and that's the thing that appealed to me. It's like, okay, you know, I just loved listening to highlights. And I was thinking, well, I'm not going out there hitting the grand slam, so maybe I'll be calling the grand slam or something, and you'll be able to hear that instead of, you know, me actually hitting it. So that was always part of, and again, you might not know who's doing it, but when you hear the play, hey, you know, that sounds familiar.
Absolutely.
You've had your fair share of experiences with teams. Can you share what teams you've worked with and where they are and what sports?
Yeah, I've been all over the place. You know, in terms of teams and whatnot, I've been with a couple. Obviously, when I was up in Syracuse, I did a lot with the university there. Worked, you know, but that was just covered with the local sports student radio station up there. But we covered also the basketball teams, lacrosse, high school football. So I mean, that's not team specific, but that's what I did up there. Also worked with the American Hockey League team, which is basically AAA hockey. If you're relating it to baseball or whatnot, it's the highest minor league sport. Syracuse has a minor league team there, the Syracuse Crunch. So I was an intern with them for a couple of seasons. My first year, we actually went to the final, which was a great experience. Anyway, so I worked up there. During the summers when I was in school, I went down to Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C., I worked with a summer baseball team, you know, like a collegiate league team, the Alexandria Aces. So I was there for 3 summers. There were some interesting times there. The season goes by so quickly, but it's so much fun. So that was baseball. And then after that, it was down south in Mississippi, of all places. They have hockey in the South.
Wow.
You might not believe it.
Really?
Yes. So I was with a hockey
like
team.
the Dome over in Warwick or whatever. Right?
Well, I mean, you can. Yes, it's an indoor hockey team, Colin. It's ice hockey.
They don't play on the frozen swamps.
Hey, rollerblading and playing hockey is a lot of fun.
Well, right. I mean, they have
And
roller
you get the
hockey
same
and whatnot.
idea, kind of. The rubber obviously doesn't slide. Like, if you're trying to come to a stop, you can't do that. But, I don't know.
Yeah, it's ice hockey.
All right.
They have ice hockey down there. So I was with the Mississippi River Kings. They're right outside of Memphis. And was there for about a year and a half or so. And now I've got another gig upcoming. Can't really get into it yet, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah, this is not allowed to be discussed.
Right.
We've already been over this, but it's big news.
Big news.
For later on.
Right.
For Luke Favale's future. Now, you mentioned some crazy stories. Can you get into some of them without naming names?
Well, yeah, I mean, I say crazy. There's nothing crazy, at least nothing that I want to get into that's crazy. But, you know, baseball season is great. You got a game every day.
Yeah, it's
so
a lot.
it's you're so busy. You got games, like I said, every day. You might have a doubleheader here, back and forth. And the beauty about that league was, you know, like I said, it was a summer college league, so the teams are pretty much in the same area. It's not like an overnight trip here or there. So we would get a game, you know, an hour and a half away in Baltimore or whatnot, and come back. Anyway, the head coach of that team, my last 2 years there, very superstitious. So, and the team was pretty good when I was there, especially the last 2 years. So, you know, if we got on a winning streak, any sort of winning streak, win a game, okay, we got to do whatever we had. Same lunch, same whole scenario. I think we won 6 or 7 or 8 games in a row. So a whole week straight, we'd go to Chipotle for lunch.
Oh, my God.
On the way to the game, we would stop either at a tropical smoothie. It's a restaurant. They have smoothies. The place is great.
Yeah.
We'd either get a smoothie or we'd go to Chick-fil-A and get a milkshake.
Oh, I love Chick-fil-A.
Right. So, or on the rare occasion, we would go to 7-Eleven and get a Slurpee. So it was obviously Chipotle for lunch. And then one of those 3 on the way on the drive to the game. Probably not good for the health, but it was...
Chipotle for lunch every day is rough.
It's so good, though. I mean, I wasn't complaining about that part, but it's, the milkshake or the smoothie or whatever else that added on. Anyway, so that was, one of the... It's just, he had it in his head. Well, we got to keep doing it. We're winning, so we got to keep... All right, here we go again. Another milkshake. Although I got to say, the cookies and cream milkshake from Chick-fil-A, you can't beat it.
That's good.
So,
I've only had one thing from actually 2 things from Chick-fil-A, and that's their egg and chicken and cheese sandwich, which
on a biscuit? Oh, yeah. Their biscuits are so good.
It's like the best egg sandwich I've ever had in my life. And then just the hash browns that come with it. I have not had their actual like chicken meal.
Not very popular up here, Chick-fil-A.
No, there's not a whole lot
There's
around.
not. There's like one, like the closest one is like 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
I think it's in New York State.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot around. That's when I was down south.
They're big there.
Yeah, so it was nice. They've got a whole wide variety of delicious
Like
treats.
Sonic.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, Sonic's another great place. My apartment down in Mississippi was right basically across the street from a Sonic.
Oh my god.
I got
So,
Sonic once.
that
They
was-
screwed up my order.
Oh no! I love Sonic. That's a great place.
I hate the Sonic commercials.
Oh,
I can't stand
not a fan of those two.
I agree.
They
Commercials
have-
can be a big turn off of places,
Yeah.
and that's one that if you just go by the commercial, I'm not going.
I was telling Colin today, you know those Chevy commercials with that guy that he tries to like tell you like, you know what car has
This
the
one
best
award?
rating?
Yeah.
And they're like, what? It's like, no shit, it's Chevy. First off, that guy's been on TV for like a year now.
Yeah.
If you don't know who he is, at least by his dumb face, you're an idiot. And second off, they signed waivers before.
Yeah.
They know it's a Chevy.
We know you're an
This-
actor, okay?
This sucks.
You're not fooling us.
All 5 of those? I didn't know.
my
It just
God.
keeps going up. That's so cool.
And I told Colin, I was like, I really like Chevy, and those commercials are like really, really hurting my like for them. I'm just not a fan of that style.
Yeah.
It's stupid, but anyway,
I haven't heard a lot of bad things about Chevy, so I mean,
except for those commercials. They
those
suck.
commercials, except the commercials, yeah.
So, Luke, what would you say is your dream job in broadcasting? If you could pick any job,
If
pick
I could-
anyone's job
well,
from them.
Well, I could certainly. I mean, there's a whole lot that are terrific, but I, as you might have been able to figure out by now, I love hockey.
Yes.
So, any job in hockey is great, and I'm also a Ranger fan. So you married to two, and I would love to be, the voice of the Rangers, but. I'm not going to be picky if, the Islanders came calling or something. I guess I could do that.
Of course.
But I think, and again, that'll be a long way down the road. But, Sam Rosen is a terrific guy, and I hope he's a Ranger broadcaster for a long time because he has been. He's great. But that would be, if I had to pick any spot, that would be the spot.
That's great. I mean, the last question about the broadcast field that I really had was radio versus television.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's, from the amateur eye, it's not really a big difference. It's whatever because you're usually focusing on the game and it's not a big deal. You don't really see the commentators a ton, even if it is TV. What is your preference?
Well, it is different, and it varies by sport, of course, and either radio or television. I like radio, but I say that because radio is the medium for the play-by-play guy.
Yeah.
Television is for the color analyst. So that's why I like radio, because it's about me.
You need
It's me.
And I mean, you just get to express it more. You have to convey the game through your voice with emotion, and that sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it's great. I mean, I learned this a long time ago. As the radio guy, like you said, you're painting the picture. You are literally painting the picture. You're the eyes, the ears, everything, the sounds, the sights, everything for the listener. You are that guy. They can't see what's going on. They can't hear what's going on. They can't feel what's going on if they're listening to the game. So you have to do that through the radio. Television, you don't have to talk as much, first of all, which is also can be nice. So that's a positive. But it is really, you are, as a play-by-play guy in television, just trying to set up the color analysts as much as possible so they can tell you what's actually going on, because they're the experts on, or they're supposed to be the experts on the sport that they're talking about. So if you're watching a football game, you'll hear Jim Nantz say blah, 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 and then here comes Phil Simms, who...
Everyone loves.
Oh, yeah. Who tries to tell you why the quarterback threw this interception or missed that wide open guy, or this defensive player did this or that. And they're the guys who you hear most of the time, at least between plays or whatnot. And again, like I said, it's totally different between sport to sport, too. In hockey, for example, in TV, the play-by-play guy is still predominantly talking because the action is so quick.
All the time.
There's not a whole lot of stoppages. So the guy just keeps on going and going. Basketball, you get a basket and the guy can talk about it real quick or whatever. It's totally different. In baseball, that's a slow game, so you got a lot of time to talk.
is hockey growing? It seems like hockey's growing in this country. Right?
It's growing.
Because
It's not, it's not like a basketball or football or anything, but it's steadily getting,
I think people are finally like realizing why hockey is great. Like, because when I was younger, I didn't get it. I was like, I don't care for this sport, but now when I watch hockey, it's exciting as hell.
Yeah, especially the playoffs. People watch the playoffs who don't care about the regular season, and that's fine. I mean, people.
I'm admittedly one of those
Yeah,
people.
and people do that in other sports too. It's not like hockey's going, but the hockey playoffs are unique. I mean, I think they are just a different animal in the sports world. Is the Stanley Cup playoffs? It's the NFL playoffs are one game it's obviously exciting. NCAA basketball, the tournament is always exciting.
Right.
But the grind of a 7-game series in the Stanley Cup playoffs, every shift is just, are they going to score here? I mean, it's so edge of your seat excitement. It's it's a different animal, like I said.
And when they do score, like everyone's jumping and yelling because it's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Like I love that it's not football touchdown.
Yeah.
They didn't get a touchdown, but the next drive they got a touchdown.
Right.
Like, there's like 10 touchdowns a game.
Yeah,
from
same
both
thing in
teams
basketball.
total.
It's 110
Yeah.
and 105. I mean, it's still exciting when it gets down to the wire,
it's-
you expect to go up and down and score quite a bit. So it's not, every possession doesn't take on the meaning that maybe every shift does in hockey.
So you are a Jets fan.
Yeah.
You're a Rangers fan.
Correct.
You are a Yankees fan. You're a Knicks fan.
Yeah. For the most part, it's been a rough life, except for the Yankees.
Yes, because I am those four also.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I believe you're those four.
Those are my 4 teams. Sadly, if we take the Yankees out, it sucks.
Yeah. Although the Rangers
have been nice.
since the lockout, they've been very good.
Yes.
But they haven't won a title yet, so it's been frustrating.
We've gotten close.
Yeah.
Now you are a big hockey guy. Is that necessarily your favorite team? If you had to pick one to have season tickets to for the rest of your life, and you could go to all the games.
Yeah.
It's not like you live somewhere else and you can't. If you
Yeah.
can go to all the games somehow and then teleport back to your place, what team would you pick to be able to watch all the time?
It would probably be the Rangers, just because in-person hockey is better than any sport.
Right.
I mean, and that's yes, I'm a hockey fan, obviously, but I love all the sports. But in person, it is better than any sport. You cannot match the intensity of being at a hockey game. You just can't. So yeah, if that was a choice, although I think the second choice would probably be the Yankees, just because it's laid back and you can do whatever and this and that and have fun. But I think if you want the pure intensity and whatnot, it would easily be the Rangers.
I asked that question to Nick Sportson, famous comedian, one time on Twitter, not thinking he'd answer, and he answered and said that he's a huge Minnesota fan.
Okay,
He loves
so
the
the Minnesota,
Vikings,
yeah.
and he loves.
He talks about that a lot.
Yeah,
right?
he loves.
Everything.
But he loves the Twins and the Timberwolves and
the Wild. Yeah.
And he just said that he loves the Twins, but the Vikings just having that there's so few games,
Right.
That there's only 8 games or whatever it is that you can go to. That he just wanted that.
Yeah, it's an easier commitment. That's for sure.
That's it. You don't have to be there every day.
And getting to one game is that's so much. I think that's another reason why it's so fun. Getting to one game, you're getting to a 16th of it's 16 season, right?
Yeah.
16,
Yeah,
yeah.
so you're getting to a 16th of their games by
Right.
going to one.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, there's advantages to each of them. Now you have to factor in the weather too. If if you're in Minnesota, they got the outdoor arena now, the outdoor
that's true.
stadium.
They don't
So
have the dome
he's
anymore.
going to be
Oh,
freezing if he wants to
God.
go there. At least in hockey, it's a little cold, but it's manageable.
Right.
You can deal with it.
So let's jump into our Yankees baseball season that is underway right now. What are your thoughts right now on the Yankees and what they're doing?
Well, I like it. They've although they're still above 500 and they're still technically only I think 3.5, 4.5, whatever it is out of the wild card
Yeah.
race. They've made some good moves, and I'm looking forward, whether they make a run here, which they're not supposed to, but if they do, great, this season or not. They've got some good young players now in their farm system who, not everyone's going to pan out, but if they do, it's the future looks bright for the Yankees. Gary Sanchez, I don't know if you saw it yesterday, hit a home run that was just crushed.
Yeah,
I mean,
it wasn't like he pulled it. He
no,
just
straight
killed it.
away center field and just. I mean, I think it's still going. That's how
Yeah,
far it went.
It was a bomb.
No, I like the direction they're going in because they had a lot of old guys, and they finally got rid of all of them.
I like that they kind of pushed A-Rod out. I really like that because he's too old. He's washed up. He's done. They should not have signed that contract in the first place.
Yeah.
Like
that's the incentive though.
Yeah.
As a team, if you want a player to pick your team, you're going to be like, look, this makes you 42 years old making money.
Yeah, and hey, I can't get on A-Rod. He was the key part of a World Series team in
2009 was his
It was
year.
terrific. 07, he had an MVP, an unbelievable season in 07. So he's had a good career with the Yankees, no question
I
about
would
it.
say he wasn't like great.
Yeah.
Like he was.
But the last couple of years, well, last year he was solid. But yeah, it was
It's
time
his
for
time.
him to go.
And
It's time for him to
it's
go.
his time. It's a lot of other players' times. Teixeira, thank God. Beltran out. You have guys, you don't know what Gardner is going to do. We don't know.
Ellsbury's stuck around. McCann. I mean, there's a lot of guys.
You hope McCann can leave this year. That'd be really great. But
Yeah.
just turn the page.
Yeah.
I do gotta say, it's a little sad for A-Rod, like not hitting that benchmark, like the 700, like that. You know he wanted that so freaking bad.
Of course, but I mean, I think we make too big of a deal about all these round
Sure,
numbers.
well,
I mean,
yeah, the round
6'9", he's still fourth all time in home runs. It's not like, and I get your obviously
Yeah.
700 would be great.
Yeah.
But big deal, 4-way. Yes, it hurts, but
And I
still
don't even
pretty
think,
good.
the incentive money-wise wouldn't turn out until 7:15, right? He has to pass Barron.
Yeah.
Or, yeah,
Babe
whoever
Ruth,
it
whoever.
is.
Yeah, I'm not up on his
I don't
whatever
even
the
think
contract
700
was.
is
Oh
like
no,
a
it's
number.
literally. I think it's just it would be like a personal.
Oh, yeah,
like it's like
absolutely. Oh, for
awesome.
sure.
I hit 700. Like that's not. I mean, he would be the fourth person
Yeah.
that could say that
Yeah,
ever.
Of
Like,
course.
And I don't think anyone is going to do that. It's going to be tough.
Going to be
'cause
tough.
There's
No more.
steroids and everything.
Yeah, the pitches are
Until they
getting-
legalize steroids or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Which personally, I think that everybody's secretly doing it, and at this point, they should just like make sure they only take a certain amount, and they like that kind of thing. Like make it so it's like, all right, well, you can't take this much, and like you can give it to them, and everybody will be good. They don't have to take them anymore. And like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think if they do that,
That's
it'll
an
even out
argument
the
that's
playing
been
field.
said before, that if everyone's doing it, then what's the big deal? But
Like doping. I don't
Right.
get it. Just let them dope. Like
the cyclists.
yeah, cyclists. I like that one with Armstrong. Apparently, I think it was the 23rd guy down that list in that race was the only guy with not a history of at least doping once.
Yeah.
So like,
That's insane.
yeah.
Exactly.
If everyone's doing it, I mean that does suck for the kids, I guess. But who do you think is going to win the World Series? Bold prediction. Give me two teams, AL, NL, and then you can pick a winner. But at least you have
AL, I know it's tough. I still think the Red Sox are really good, but I think Toronto is. They could have done it last year, and they still got a very good team this year. The Indians obviously made a bunch of moves, so they could be tough. I think Toronto's coming out of the American League, though. I just something about them. Just they're in first place again, and the AL East has been such a great race. But I think they'll come out of the American League. The National League is tough with the Cubs, who are terrific. The Nationals are very good. The Dodgers are right there. I mean, the whole National League. The Giants, of course.
Yeah.
It is technically the Giants' year, I guess, to win the World Series.
the skipped years.
But I'll go Washington and Toronto, and I think Toronto wins it.
That's Hogue. How about you? I know you're an expert in baseball.
Oh yeah. What he said.
All right.
By the way, if you didn't get that, I'm not an expert. I watched some of the playoffs.
Nice.
Some of them. I will say, like, I care about the Yankees. I want them to win, but I can't say I'm a big baseball guy, because that would be a lie.
You are a big football guy,
Oh yeah.
so we're gonna go right into our preview. Since we're going to the Jet game, the first preseason game, hopefully to watch some great young players develop. Let's start with something that we all can talk about here, which is that we are all in a fantasy football league and have been since 2007.
Wow. Is it that long?
2007.
Almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years.
Yeah.
And it has been probably one of the highlights of everyone's year, if I could speak for everyone, because the draft is awesome. Mm-hmm. And look, I told this to Luke. I wrote this when I sent it to him, that everyone has a league. And it's not really that fun hearing about other people's leagues. You kind of hear about, like, some guy will be like, "Oh, I got to tell you about my team," and inside your head you're like,
Here we go.
I don't
I
give
heard
a
5
shit.
other guys tell me this just yesterday.
It sucks. But you kind of go through it, because then you could tell them your team,
Yeah.
and then that's the brunt of it. So we'll keep it quick. But we've been doing this forever. Luke's and I started fantasy the year before that.
Yes.
Yeah.
If Luke remembers,
Co-owners.
we were co-owners
That's
of
right.
a team, and that was the year where LaDainian Tomlinson broke every freaking record ever. And then week 16, when we played against him, he sucked, and we won the league.
Oh, didn't we make like a trade or picked up Terrell Owens or something
we had
late?
Our
and
team was
whatever it was.
so hood rat.
Yeah.
It was like T.O., we had Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco, Steven Jackson. Like, we had a good team.
Oh,
Phillip
yeah.
Rivers was our quarterback, I believe. So it was a good team.
Yeah.
But so we started with that, and we were like, we have to just make a league because we were co-owners. It was fun, but we made our own league. The league right now is at 10 people.
Start off at 6, I think.
Started off with only 6, which was crazy. because
The league is
teams-
expansion mode right now.
Yeah, the teams were stacked. It was not good.
Yeah.
There was like
And yeah, we had the scoring curve too. We had like 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
It was just insane.
That's
so
craziness.
now we have 10, and
I think is a perfect number. I don't think going over 10. Like,
Yeah, 10 is.
I
12,
like
then
10.
you have to start like, okay, I'm gonna put this second string quarterback in. Maybe he'll play. Like,
Yeah.
If you go with 12, you really got to like cut off a roster,
Yeah.
starting something. I think 10 is a good
Yeah.
number.
10 is a great number for our league because we use 2 quarterbacks to start, and if you physically can't do 2 quarterbacks if you have 12 teams.
Yeah.
Physically you can't.
It's tough to do it with 10 also when all your guys get hurt like
Yeah.
last year.
which happens
Sorry.
like every freaking year. It seems like
Yeah.
everybody's injured.
Is dying at quarterback. So I wanted to release, because most of our listeners, all 9 of them, are probably in our league. So I wanted to release our draft order.
Whoa.
And we do our draft order based off of who came in last. And we count consolation. So those playoffs matter. So if you want to tank, it'll show because you come in last and you get the, I believe it's the, what trophy did you get, Colin? Because you got in last place.
Well, this is a second year running with this trophy. Apparently, I fucking suck.
Yeah.
It's the toilet trophy.
Yes, the toilet
It is
trophy.
sitting on my dresser at home. I am very proud of it.
You didn't bring it to work?
No.
Ah.
No, I don't. Fuck those guys. No, I leave it on my dresser so I can look at it every day and like smile and just.
It's good
cherish
motivation,
it.
right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like next year I'm gonna get second to last and I don't have to have this anymore.
So Colin is our first pick. So he's on the clock right now.
Oh.
We don't know who he's going to pick. Last year he
I don't
picked
either.
Rodgers, I believe.
Which was a good pick because Rodgers is always a solid player.
Oh, yeah. You
Yeah.
can't... That no one bashed you for that.
And especially in our league, I mean, most people say quarterback first.
Our league, you need
need it.
Pump up the quarterbacks
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah. Next pick, which is a little shocking because of his record, is Landon.
Wow.
He sucked in the consolation playoffs.
Who's
And-
surprised about that, Phil?
I know. He's not a good manager.
No, he's awful.
So he as second pick. Third pick is my grandpa.
Okay.
Fourth pick is Connor Brady, which is not a good finish for Connor Brady.
It's not, but I honestly would rather have a position like fourth because you get more consistent picks. Like it's literally like every 10 picks.
Right.
Instead of like I
You
gotta
get
wait
back-to-back.
19 picks
Yeah.
to get my second.
Now, fifth pick is Luke, which is
I finished way down there, huh?
right in the middle of the
Oh
pick,
no!
literally.
Oh, all right. I'm usually like you said, Colin, either at the first or
Yeah.
the last. That's normally
Yeah.
where I am.
So Luke, you got a nice
Nice.
middle pick.
All right.
Then we have sixth pick is Tom Webb. He came in fourth.
Which is ridiculous.
Actually, no.
Screw you, Tom.
Yeah. So then we have the seventh pick is my father.
He had a big finish last year.
It was almost a Linares 1-2-3 finish if Owen didn't beat my dad in the third place game. So Owen has the 8th pick.
Okay.
I have the 9th pick because I came in second again. It's my second year in a row coming in second goddamn place. And then
The rookie.
newcomer
Yeah.
who is now not in the league anymore.
Wow.
So
Perfect record.
our great last pick is up for grabs technically.
Yes. We're taking offers. If you want to pay a little extra to get into the
Yes.
league, we'll take it.
We'll take bribes to
Yeah.
be in our league.
But that's pretty crazy. Like the last pick, it's like, yeah, I want to join our league. You're last.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, some people like it.
Yeah, taking over a winning
You get the
franchise.
double.
You know.
We get a
Get
double
there.
Yeah,
whammy.
yeah, it's
It feels like two first round
Two first round picks
yeah,
basically.
yeah, it's a good spot. Like I said, I usually end up 8, 9, 10 in that spot in the draft.
Look, last year I had it.
Yeah.
I had 9. And the year before that I won, so I had 10. I like it.
I think I was 10 one of those years.
Yeah.
Like I actually did win once. Now I'm down two major losses in a row there.
It's
See, that's the thing. Our league, I remember a couple of years ago, showing how much time I had on my hands. I went back through and got all the records of all, I lost it at this point. But I think our league is, I think everyone's pretty much won who's been around at least for, since the start.
Yes.
And a couple of the guys who've been here 1, 2, 3 years maybe haven't won it all yet.
But they're in it.
But they're in it. Our league has got good parity for the most part.
It's
I
outstanding.
think I've come along with the first. I don't know if you remember the first draft for me, but because I don't do research, but at least I know what happened last year because I was in the league and I saw the players. So it's I usually build off that. But the first year, I didn't know anything.
Colin just picked guys that he knew their names.
And they were all old. They
Yeah.
were like Santana Moss. They were random, just old guys who were good 5 years before that. But it was an OG team of just mediocrity.
Has-beens, yes.
Yeah, it was just a mediocre team all around.
So we have obviously that slot up for grabs, and the big name that people have been rumored as to filling it is the other Brady brother.
Is this a new report or an old report?
This is an old report.
Oh, okay.
So maybe it's not the most current one, but Jack Brady is a rumored name.
All right.
For this.
I mean, I can also ask Ken if
Ken was also a rumored name for this. There's a lot of speculation on, who's going to join.
Yeah.
I think it's really not a hard decision because it's a matter of who feels like.
Yeah. Who? Question: how much are we going to be putting down?
So we have the belt. We don't have to pay for the belt anymore.
Right.
So
that's
now
good.
we're literally
So
playing
now
for
we're
cash.
playing for cash
Excellent.
and the belt.
Nice.
Which
Awesome.
already had. It's upstairs.
Love it.
It's in Evan's room. I've seen it.
disappointing.
I know. I've looked at it a couple times, but it's not mine. I was very close to it, but I don't know. That's a discussion, obviously, that we will have. I think that the greatest part of this league was that we never had to play for money because it was always just we wanted to win. Yes. Although certain people, when they fucking sucked, stopped checking their team because it wasn't for money. That's
Exactly.
the biggest incentive.
Which is why you kind of. I mean, that's why I think it should probably be something like $20.
Yeah, something
I mean,
not bad.
I mean, if you are a functioning adult, $20 should not be that big of an issue to lose.
It's not going to break the bank.
Yeah. I mean, I was asked, I know Lucas has, for these March Madness brackets, and they're I just remember one person who we won't name always is hey, I'm doing a March Madness. You can almost put it a reminder and be I'm going to get a text from this kid about March Madness. And it was yeah, it's $100. And I'd be what? I'm not doing $100 on the most, literally the thing that no one has ever predicted ever.
Yeah. Well, my college roommate started a March Madness thing back when he was in high school, and this thing grew. And it was $5 I think to get in, 5 or 10. But there was 500, 600 people in the thing, so
Holy
there was
crap.
there was a nice payday at the end of the day.
See, that's worth it.
Yeah. So you weren't paying $100 to win 800. You're paying $5 to win, 800 or something.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's worthwhile.
So if we each do 20, winner gets obviously 90% of it. We'll say second place gets their money back.
or
So, Hogue, you have your calculator out.
Oh yeah, it was yeah.
And 20 times
180
10.
Oh,
bucks.
it's 200.
That's
total,
simple math there.
That's 180. That's
Right.
that Syracuse education.
So what?
I don't get
The
that.
winner gets 180,
180.
and then
Loser,
And the loser
second
gets
place
20
gets their
bucks.
20
Yeah.
back.
okay.
And that's it. Third place gets a big FU.
Are you sure you don't want to do it? I guess it would be 140, 40, 20.
No prize for second place.
No
third
prize.
Or for third. Second place, you hardly get a prize. You
You
get none.
don't get a prize. You
get none.
Get even.
It's
Okay.
about, if you're not first, you're last.
Yeah, I agree. I'm winning the thing, so make it as much. Give the whole thing the first place.
I know. Well, that's what I'm very excited for my championship basketball to come because
Oh yeah.
just beat Evan's team, so I'm in the finals.
Yeah, so I hear.
Hopefully
Uh-oh.
get a nice payday from that. If we lose, I will be pretty bummed because second place gets nothing. So we got all the way that far to lose, but so the other issue was this whole new rules for our league because I forgot them and I forgot to write them down when I we all voted on them last year.
I saw new rules, and it said that like on the page.
Yeah.
I don't know how to check what's new.
It
just shows you like this is the league, so it's like I guess I have to read everything.
Oh, that was just I edited the time and the date of the draft and stuff. But last year we voted on like keepers, and I think we could do that. That'd be a little complicated, but we'd have to make sure everyone. I mean, I want to do it. It sounds fun. Yeah, but that's something we've never done.
Right.
And that is if you.
It would
draft,
be moving forward.
Yeah, next year.
Yeah.
So if you
starting,
let's say your first pick. And you picked Rodgers or whoever, and next year you wanted to keep him,
which I would absolutely do.
That's your guy. You get to use your keeper on him.
I would love that.
That's
be awesome. Yeah.
So, and that's how you move forward with that. But that's a rule we did vote on, and we did pass it last year. But I don't remember the other ones. One of them was PPR, which we voted down.
Yeah, I think
points
that's
per
right.
reception
Just
because
too much craziness.
It's too many points. Like a receiver could get like 38 points.
Different people become in play when that happens. Like there's guys who get 30, 40 yards a game, but they get those in like 5 catches. Right. So it's like boom, now they're 10-point games.
Exactly. It's not cool.
I feel like we no, go ahead.
Decimals was big last year. That was nice. And I tried to do the math to make quarterbacks get decimals, and it was so hard. Like ESPN just is not in favor of that. So the whole numbers for quarterbacks is not a big deal because at least they give or take.
They get a lot of points.
They get points, so it doesn't matter.
They don't need any help.
Yeah, they're not begging for points like a running back or a wide receiver does.
That might have been it.
I think so, and I think we just voted those two down. But I think the keeper this year is a big new twist. So speaking of football, do you have any bold predictions before week 1 of preseason that you want to say? Let's go around the room here. Luke, name one bold prediction that most people aren't talking about the entire NFL that you think could happen this year. Bold.
Yikes.
Yikes. That's a
yeah, right.
That's a name drop. That's our podcast.
Oh, I see. Well, this is a tough one. I'm not in football mode yet. You see, that's the trouble.
I know.
So I haven't really studied the league.
I'm going to go with my boldest prediction this year is that RG3 is going to be insane.
And he's actually going to make the entire season?
I think he's going to have like a top 6 quarterback.
He hasn't been injured in how long? Like he
didn't play last year.
Yeah, so
he was he didn't even suit up, right. So he's not hurt.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have like a top 6 year.
Okay, I can see that.
That's my bold prediction, especially if Gordon is healthy. Like whenever he comes back, Josh Gordon's going to be a freak.
This might increase the boldness for me. What team is Sanchez on now? And he's starting, right?
He's fighting.
Well, he's fighting for it with the Broncos.
Okay, he's fighting. Who's he fighting against?
Some rookies.
Yeah,
right?
they picked up Paxton Lynch out of Memphis. And
This is my prediction. Sanchez is going to do incredible.
He could. I still like Mark Sanchez.
He's got the weapons.
See, that's the thing. Sanchez has always been decent, but never had a decent line. That's what I think, at least.
Yeah. Well, he never had receivers.
He did well a couple games on the Eagles. And the Eagles, I mean, they had a pretty good line. But then, I don't know what happened. I really didn't look into it enough. But
well, when he has receivers, he's good. I mean, the Jets had a couple of receivers with him, and they went to 2 AFC championships.
And the Broncos they've got to have one of the best receiving corps in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that defense, they should be very good, the Broncos. That being said, the Raiders are going to finish with the best record in the AFC.
Whoa. How many wins?
I don't know.
Are we talking like 12 or 13?
12 or 13 wins for the Raiders.
That's big. That's playoff material.
Yeah, they're going to the playoffs. They might not do anything in the playoffs, but they're going to make the playoffs and most wins in the AFC.
Here's my bold prediction for the opposite, for a negative outcome. I think that the Bills are going to have 4 wins this year.
They're going to struggle, I think.
I think they are.
They've had a lot of injuries already.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
In the training camp.
I like Rex. I think last year they did awesome. They have a nice little team. I just think they're going to struggle because of how banged up they are already.
But they will beat the Jets twice.
They'll have 2 wins against the Jets and 2 wins against someone else.
Yeah,
this is too many bold predictions. We just hit 4.
Nah.
We broke the rule.
No, you have to do a negative, Hogue.
Oh, a negative? You had to do positive and negative?
We're just spinning with boldness right now.
Negative. I did not have kids. Do you have any negatives right now?
I don't know if it's a negative or not, but the Patriots probably go 16-0. Even though I said the Raiders finished with the best record in the AFC, the Patriots still probably go 16-0. No, I don't know. Not off the top of my head. I don't know what a negative would be.
I'm just trying to be bold.
Yeah. So I'd say there's a major quarterback injury this year. I don't know who it's going to be, but one of the major starting quarterbacks
Talking like a top 10er guy gets
hurt early in the season.
I got my negative.
Let's hear it.
It's I literally am building off yours.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you who that person is gonna get injured.
Oh.
Aaron Rodgers.
I knew it was
gonna get. It's gonna be him because has he ever gotten seriously injured?
Yeah,
to my knowledge,
no.
He
broke something at some point.
Did
think.
he really break something?
I don't know. Maybe not.
He plays through a lot.
Yeah, he missed a couple of games here or there, but nothing significant.
I think he's gonna break his ankle, and then he's gonna be out for half the season.
That would be awful.
It would be awful because I'm a Packers fan. That's my team. But he's. Not everybody gets injured. Favre didn't get a major injury, but I think he's due for an injury.
Well, we hope not.
Yeah.
Well, he's probably gonna be my pick. So
you have the first pick now.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Maybe Rodgers' first pick for.
He's already working on the contract.
Gotta root for your team in fantasy.
That's true. Well, I think that about wraps it up. Hogue, any last comments?
No, I don't.
Luke, do you have anything to plug here?
No, I mean, just if you want to, keep up with that secret spot where I'll be going in the next week or two, you could, if you feel like it, following me on Twitter. I don't want to be the guy who does that. But,
you absolutely have to be that guy.
So,
you gotta shut yourself
right.
up.
So you can follow me on Twitter at Lukas with a K, Lukas Favale. So there you go.
Soon to be broadcasting your team, Lukas Favale.
Right.
You never know where Lukas will be.
Yes, that's where's Lukas? That'll be the name of the game here the next couple of weeks.
So make sure you guys share our podcast. We work super hard on it. We are.
Yeah, we talk for No, you actually do put stuff together.
Yeah, I write notes on my iPhone.
Well, yeah, at least you bring it up the top. I don't even want to do that. I'm a lazy asshole.
This is one of those podcasts that if you listen to it, it's awesome. If you don't, it's not going to kill us at the end of the day. So thank you for listening. If you made it all the way through, I'm sure you did, actually. This is a great podcast. And hopefully the Jets get a nice win tonight. And have a great day.
Oh, quick question.
A question? Yeah.
A question. Are you guys wearing any jerseys to this game?
Yeah, I will be wearing Eric Decker today.
Eric Decker?
I'm wearing a Jet shirt. It's the only Jet apparel I have. I'm not a big jersey guy.
All right. I'm wearing the throwback Santana Moss. Also Kyle's jersey. I just steal all his jerseys.
It's a throwback.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
That is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. Just wondering. Tack that on.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Remember to get your pets spayed and neutered.
See ya.
Half past 2 piece of shit. I pop some Ritalin, just a little bit, and I